All right there, everyone. Democrats are admitting that President Trump has won his battle with Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar and that he is nothing less than politically brilliant. That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. And we'll also be looking at what many commentators are missing that adds even more to Trump's political genius. But first, as you know, we are always incurably optimistic on this channel, but optimism is never an excuse for failing to prepare in case of emergencies. You never know when a disaster like a hurricane can strike or a mass power outage, and that is no time to rush out to the store only to be greeted by chaos and empty shelves. So one of the coolest investments that I've recently made is getting a 2-week emergency food supply from a good friend of this channel, and that's My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is some of the best long-term breakfast, lunch, and dinner storages, and getting it was so easy to ship the emergency food supply right to my door. And the best part is if you go to my special website, you can actually save over $60 off the regular price. So don't wait till it's too late. Get prepared by clicking on the link below and get your 2-week emergency food supply today. All right, this has not been a very good week for the Democrats. In fact, it's not been a very good month. Did you even know there's another round of Democratic presidential debates next week? Did you know that? If you didn't, you're not alone because nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares. I mean, literally nobody cared. Well, nobody really cared about the last one, the first round of debates either. But now with the second round, nobody cares because nobody's talking about it. And nobody's talking about it because, once again, President Donald Trump is dictating the headlines. He's dictating the news coverage. He is a master of the old adage, either you give the media something to talk about or they'll find something on you. President Trump masterfully dominated what both the Democrats talked about this week and what the mainstream media talked about this week. Everyone was talking about the so-called squad, or what Trump has renamed, the Four Horsemen. We should have the Metallica tune playing every time we mention them, right? Horsemen are drawing nearer. Sorry, it's my old heavy metal days. They're coming back here. Four horsemen being, of course, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley. Okay, now these are four, admittedly, I mean, again, this is coming from even left-wing circles. These are the four hardcore extreme leftists who make even Democrats nervous. I mean, these are the true Marxist diehard believers. Remember, just to give you a sense of how insanely radical someone like Ocasio-Cortez is, this is a woman who once questioned whether it was legitimate for human beings to still have children because of climate change. Okay, we did a video on it. She actually argued that it was a legitimate question as to whether it's okay to still have children. To which we respond, yes, by all means, AOC, by all means, we fully support all leftist liberals to stop having children, which, by the way, they're doing on their own, right? That's one of the reasons why leftist liberalism is doomed. Leftist liberals have stopped having kids, all the while conservatives are the ones who are still having relatively big families. So if demographics is destiny, you do the math, right? Bye-bye libbies. But I digress. The Four Horsemen, or the Squad as they refer to themselves, are the most radical wing of the Democratic Party, and they are an embarrassment, okay? Let's just be, I mean, again, even mainstream media folks admit this. They are an utter and complete embarrassment for Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. And so she's been doing everything she can to marginalize them and keep them quiet and out of sight, especially among swing voters who are obviously very, very turned off by their radical extremist rhetoric. So it must have been nothing short of a nightmare, a living nightmare for Pelosi to wake up, what was it, Sunday morning, to this tweet firestorm from Trump foregrounding these four radical anti-American congresswomen saying, they all need to leave the country and go back to their countries of origin, which are all political and economic catastrophes. Stop being so anti-American, go back, that kind of stuff. Can you imagine her panic when she discovered on Monday that Trump was doubling and tripling down on those comments during his press conference, where he just over and over again hammered their names and their radical political positions and what they've said and what they've done over and over. That's the brilliance of Trump, right? He even brought up questions at one point about Omar's marriage to her own brother. I mean, Trump went full animal on them. And can you imagine Pelosi's torment when she found that the four horsemen held their own press conference for all the world to see, where they kept denouncing Trump as this racist oaf and he needs to be impeached. And then the cable news channels were talking about this 24/7, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, did you know there was a Democratic presidential debate next week? You get the point, right? Now, we provided analysis on earlier videos on precisely what Trump was doing, and now I am delighted to report from none other than Jake Tapper's Twitter feed, Jake Tapper of CNN of all places. I'm delighted to report that now there are a number of Democrats admitting that Trump came out of all this the clear winner. In the exact words of one Democrat who Tapper leaves unnamed, Trump clearly, quote, won this one, he said. What the president has done is politically brilliant. Pelosi tried to marginalize these people, and the president has now identified them with the entire Democratic Party. Another Democrat, again off the record, said that what Trump did was he effectively stripped the Democrats from all the issues that got them elected in 2018. Other Democrats recognized the catch-22 of having to defend these congresswomen against President Trump's what they consider verbal assaults on the one hand, but also trying not to defend what these congresswomen actually say and stand for. It's a seemingly impossible task. And it gets even better. Jake Tapper, again, this is CNN, folks. Jake Tapper's sources tell him that these four horsemen are all getting primary challengers in 2020. The Democratic Party is doing everything they can to get rid of them because, of course, they are political poison. A recent poll that was conducted by Democrats themselves, by Democrats, they're the ones who did the poll, of registered voters in swing states found that the vast majority of them knew who Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar were, and they were really disgusted by them. Okay, their negatives are through the roof. Remember, Omar has only a 9% favorability rating. 9%. Just keep that in mind. Mark 9 on your forehead whenever you see her, right? And look, the Democratic leadership, Pelosi in particular, have been doing everything they can to distance themselves from these four congresswomen. And what does Trump do? In a matter of just a few days, what does he do? He makes the four horsemen the official face of the Democratic Party. But even though many commentators are waking up to this political genius, this 3D chess Trump is playing here. Remember the mainstream media didn't buy it. They all thought that Trump was just being a careless oaf. You know, he was just letting his rabid racism get the best of him. That's how they first covered this story when the tweets first came out. It took them a few days to even, these are Democrats, to actually figure out what he was doing, okay? But even among those who recognize, finally, his political brilliance and all this, they continue to miss an essential dimension of his strategy. What they miss is that the poll that was taken by Democrats as swing voters to find out what they really thought of AOC and Omar, that poll was specifically of white voters with little to no college education. It was white voters with 2 years or less of college. Now, the reason why that's so important is because analysts have found that white voters without college degrees voted for Trump overwhelmingly in 2016. White non-college voters comprised 2/3 of Trump's base in the primaries and 3/5 in the general election. Now, we made the argument in our first video after Trump's press conference, where he doubled down and tripled down on all this. We made the argument that Trump was looking not just to make AOC and Omar the new faces of the Democratic Party. He was also looking at the same time to fire up his base, which means that he was looking to get white voters without college degrees fired up. And nothing fires them up like foregrounding the blatant double standard over racism and racial denunciation in this nation by liberals. That's what so many of our pundits and commentators are missing here, largely because they buy into the double standard. Trump is not just trying to discredit Democrats by making AOC and Omar the new face of the Democratic Party. He's doing that for sure. But he's also firing up his base who are sick and tired of the left-wing lunatic PC double standards when it comes to racism and racial denunciation. That's why Trump's poll numbers actually went up this week. In one poll, his numbers went up by as much as 5 points. Trump is firing up his base while at the same time sending the Democrats into a death spiral. As one commentator put it, if Trump isn't this clever, then he has got to be the luckiest president in history. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some more awesome accessories that celebrate all things nationalist, populist, and traditionalist at the links below. And of course, please click on either our Patreon, Subscribe Star, or PayPal links below and consider becoming a monthly or one-time supporter of this channel and help us to continue to analyze current events in light of super awesome, genius conservative trends so that you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. God bless.